Hi everyone, welcome to Chords Records. My name's Katie. I've only got a few albums to show you this week, and they're all completely different and all really special. I can't wait to share this with you. And the first one is a contender for my top album of the year. A few weeks ago, Impressed Recordings posted on their Instagram they were distributing this album from the Lighter label in Berlin, the Nils Fram label and studio. And the way they spoke about it just had me intrigued, and I just thought, I have to get this and see what it's all about. So what is it? This is Ganavya. She's a multi-instrumentalist, New York born, Indian raised, or actually Tamil Nadu raised, and she now lives in California. She's a jazz singer, jazz instrumentalist. She blends exotic Tamil inspired music in with jazz. She's just extraordinary. It's hard to describe. Her work is like poetry. It's just absolutely beautiful. I sort of knew what it was about, but I refused to listen to it before I got the album, and it arrived while I was away this week, and I've put it on, and it's the quietest album I have heard in a long time. And this album, her singing and music, needs to be heard quietly. You need a quiet album. There are spaces in between the notes and the songs that lend itself to, you need a very quiet vinyl. I'll take it out of its shiny sleeve. I think I've still got it in the shrink. I do. And this album is called Nilam, which is I understand, I think it might be a Tamil word for earth or land. Her parents are Hindu, and a lot of that, the Hindu, I guess, aesthetic comes through in the album. It's just so beautiful. I can't express to you how beautiful this is. It starts almost contemporary, like you think you might be being led down in a contemporary jazz vocal album, and then it just weaves into absolute magic. Nils Fram, obviously the famed producer from Berlin. I say obviously, I didn't really know him until this album. Produced it from his I now know iconic studio in Berlin, Lighter. He had played on a previous album of hers from the same year. This is her third album. The first album was released in 2017, and they were jazz standards in her native Tamil tongue. And then she critically acclaimed, touring the world. I think she's worked with Quincy Jones, a bunch of great people. And then in 2004, she released her next album. And then in between touring that, there were 3 or 4 days they had in between touring in Berlin and then going to Union Station, a Union, what is it? The Union Chapel in the UK. And the team at Lighter grabbed her and said, let's record these songs that you've been performing live on stage for 10 years. Let's get into a studio and record it. And so it was an unexpected album, and this is what has emerged, and it is beautiful. So I cannot express enough. If you're interested in hearing beautifully crafted music and multi-instrumentalist, almost world music, if you like, give this a go. Stream it if you need to. The vinyl is flat and quiet and beautiful. just a very simple, wonderful album. So that's up there with possibly my favorite album of the year. Very excited. Moving on to something completely different. Again, Impressed Recordings coming through with the win. So that one was distributed by Impressed Records, and this one has been released by them. They have partnered with Cheatin' Hearts Records and released this limited to 200 debut album by Sweet Talk and their album Switch On. You can see the Obi strip there, numbered and signed by the band, who are Sweet Talk. If you like Little Feat, the band, all that vintage Southern rock in the US, the Allman Brothers, this album is for you. These guys have been kind of talked up as one of the great new bands coming out of Australia in that kind of country, blues, soul, almost gospel way. They're sort of a country Americana band. And this is their debut album. Cannot speak highly enough of these guys. On the back here, if you're familiar with the country singer in Australia, Casey Chambers, she's got that quote there on the Obi strip. The unique and original band to emerge out of Australia in many years, and apparently they're amazing live. There's a few YouTube clips out online with them. Check them out. The album's great. The one that Impressed has released, this limited edition pressing, is on a red vinyl. If you like that kind of stuff, it's kind of like a red marble. And the album, the label that released this album is Cheatin' Heart Records, which is it's a small indie record label in Australia that really does focus on that kind of Americana country, more country style of artists. So very happy to have that. I've listened to it a couple of times now, and it's a winner for me. It's kind of my sweet spot. I am an Americana fan, so, and that kind of early 70s country rock, absolutely love it. So I'm very, very, very happy to have that. Again, switching gears. Oh, thank God for Dylan from Noble Records. This guy is absolutely smashing it out of the park. And he has done so again. So obviously Dylan has an amazing YouTube channel and a shop in North Carolina in the US. And he has his own record label, Noble Records. And he has reissued a AAA master cut by Matt Luthans on tip-on Stoughton jacket. A really, really incredibly presented reissue of the prog classic Yezda Boris, and it is brilliant, quiet. It's, as I said, it's AAA, all analog, absolutely brilliant. Pressed at QRP. The actual presentation of this album alone is stunning. The music. I had never heard this album. I trust Dylan completely. I've bought a few of his exclusives and his reissues, and this did not disappoint. If you do not know this album, see if you can find it. Get it off Dylan. It is a prog classic. It's that they changed their fast. It's fast tempoed music, changing tempos, experimental, medieval, lots of instruments, but beautifully recorded. And absolutely incredible to have it reissued in such a high quality. The original of this they only made 300. It was a demo album, and they go for like over $2,000. So to have an official release, there's been a few unofficial releases. They have an official reissue of this album. Oh my God, it is just honestly one of my new favorite albums. Congratulations, Dylan. Absolutely brilliant. Inside it, it has a really fantastic booklet with 2 interviews. The first interview is with Phil Kimbrough, so sort of all about the reissue and the history. And then the second interview is with 2 other members of the band, Mark Miller and Mark Tippins. Both of those interviews are courtesy of Psychedelic Baby magazine. And the interviews are great, all about the music, how they recorded it, where they were in their life. These guys were only 18 or 19 years old. Like, they were young, 1975, and all these kind of never before seen kind of studio photographs, just beautifully presented album, and a real one I would really suggest you get. I bought that. It does come in a few different versions. Dylan's released it on colored vinyl. I decided for this occasion to go with the black. I just thought I want it classic. Oh, look at that beautiful label. Just, isn't that gorgeous? And you can see, what a stunning shiny black album vinyl that is. So they're 3 really unusual records. The other albums I want to talk about just quickly. In Australia, we have this extraordinary singer-songwriter called Holly Throsby, who's been around since the noughts. And she is one of my absolute favorite artists. And we're familiar with her original album On Night, which was released in around about 2004, and have the original kind of CD of this album. This is actually one of my favorite albums of all time. She has a very, very lo-fi, breathy style of singing, very sparse style of music. She's a storyteller. All her lyrics are very narrative driven and very clever, sad, humorous, poignant. She's just very, very clever. She's actually gone on to be quite a very successful novelist in Australia. So this was her first album in 2004, and we have this 2000. Then we have this Spunk Records 20th anniversary of Spunk. They reissued this because it was released on Spunk. So we got this on vinyl, just so we could have it on vinyl. But what's really interesting is she's only done 5 albums, apart from a children's album. She's only released 5 albums over her life so far. And the last one was in 2017. But the 3 albums that came straight after On Night have never been issued on vinyl until now. And a fantastic label called Hobbledehoy Records, another great Australian label, it's been going for about 20 years, has reissued her 3 other albums from around that 2008, 10, 11 period. They all sort of look very similar. She's got a very similar aesthetic. They've all got this white border, all this beautiful, just kind of serif type on all of the albums. Very domestic kind of looking covers, just beautiful. And that's the On Night. And they've reissued these 3 albums, and I can't express how happy I am to have them. Not for everyone. If you're into sort of very that kind of music, sparse, breathy, narrative storytelling, she's an exquisite songwriter. They are all sort of similar in style, except for maybe Team. This was her last one in 2011, up until her latest album was in 2017, which I've got coming. But this one was her most experimental album, and it was recorded in a church. This one in 2008, A Loud Call, was recorded in Nashville. And this one's super interesting. This one was, has guest vocals of Bonnie Prince Billy, musos from Lamb Chop, if you're familiar with them, Silver Jews. So it was a little bit more, there was a little bit more musicality, if you like, in this album. And then the Under the Town album, which was the follow-up to On Night, was very similar to On Night. Very sparse vocals, a very acoustic, very lo-fi. So I just wanted to mention those. If you're into that kind of music, particularly if you're overseas and you don't know who she is, you would not be disappointed. I'd give her a stream and have a listen. So that's 4 of her albums. Got the 5th one coming. I'm very happy to have all of her albums. All right, that's it. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.